So I'm going to share another parable with you today. And remember, a parable is the Greek word that means to set side by side as a comparison. And Jesus teaches a lot of truth that way. And hopefully I could be a blessing to you today. Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 through 15. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, we would say businessman, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, which was the wage for the day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, and they say that they started their time at 6 o'clock in the morning, so this would be 9 o'clock now. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come at the end of a 12-hour day, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his shepherds, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way, and I will give unto the last even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? Jesus never spells it out in explanation, but the meaning is there. When some of these parables that Jesus tells, like the treasure hidden in the ground, he's teaching priorities on focusing on God. Another parable when he talked about the unjust debtor who wouldn't forgive others, this was a parable on how to treat others. Last week I told you about the parable of the sower, and that gives you insights into people. But this parable, the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, gives us insights into the very character of God himself. Maybe the secondary important lesson in this particular parable was you see God's seeking, God's reaching, God's searching for people. He went out first thing in the morning to find people to come to his vineyard because he knew his vineyard was good. And 3 hours later, he went out searching for people again. And then the 9th hour, and then the 11th hour, he went out searching for people. You're seeing in this parable, Jesus is expressing the character of God toward people. He's reaching for people. Come to my vineyard. Come and join my work. Because Jesus said those famous words, Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke. Wait a minute, we don't want a yoke on us. Jesus says, listen, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy. And Jesus says, and my burden is light. He's wanting people to come to him. My ways are easier than your ways. Come and join. But I think the primary lesson of this parable is the murmuring versus the goodness. These people who were hired for all the day long, yes, they had a case. If you wanted to look at it at straight, how much they got paid per hour, yeah, they had a case, but they agreed to the price of a day's wage. And then as the goodman of the householder brought in more people, they agreed. And when the goodman got done with his day, he gave everybody not only what they agreed to, but that one who worked one last hour of the day, who got the full day's wage. The others murmured, but this man said, this was God, it's my money, it's my goodness, why can't I be good unto all men? See, I can understand that concept real easily on getting paid the same amount when you've not been working so long. Because I worked at Gates Rubber Company, still do, and for the last 20 years, when I got hired on, they had been in operation for 15 to 20 years, so you had people with 15 years seniority. I got hired on, and after 3 months, I was up to the maximum wage. I was making the same wage as those people who were there for 15 years. And did they act and show jealousy to me? No, because they understood. Gates is a good company. Gates is treating their people good. And even though you're a new kid on the block making up my wage, they knew they were in a good situation and they were happy with that. So I can understand with what happens here because I lived through that. But sometimes people have trouble with the attitudes of this Christian way. Matthew Henry made a comment in his commentary, and I'm not going to quote him directly. He says the notions, the attitudes of the kingdom must be established before the duties make sense. These people who were hired early in the day knew what their job was, and they knew their duty, but they did not know the attitude of the kingdom. The attitude of the kingdom come from the king of the kingdom. And he says, I want to do my people good. That's the God we serve. How long must you serve God before God will let you go to heaven? 20 years? 30 years? The Apostle Paul, we know he went to heaven, and he served God for decades, establishing churches, doing missionary work, writing books that shows up in the Bible, encouraging young pastors, promoting the work of God. We know he went to heaven. 10, 20 years, of course you know he went. And then you look at the churches mentioned in the book of Revelation. They are established churches. And to maybe everyone, I didn't check, maybe every one of those established churches, after Jesus said, you need to work on this, and I'm working on this, and you need to do this, he said, he that overcometh, I will make a pillar in the house of my God. Or he that overcometh, I would dress in white and be with the angels. He that overcometh will sit on the throne with me. Okay, we know the established churches go to heaven. But how long do you have to be saved to go to heaven? What if you got saved yesterday? What about the thief on the cross? I don't know how long they were hanging on the cross, a couple hours. And during part of that hanging, when Jesus was being crucified and the thieves were on either side of him, they both ridiculed Jesus for a while. And then somewhere maybe in the final hour, final half hour, that one thief saw something changing. And he said, Lord, now that meant something. He was accepting Jesus already. Remember me when thou comest into your kingdom. And Jesus said, no way, Jose, you ain't been saved long enough. Jesus said, today you'll be with me in paradise. What about these people in this story? The 11th hour, they came and got saved at the very end of their life. Now, these other people toiled and built churches and worked in the field and dealt with problems in the church for all these years, and you come along at the last minute and you want to go to heaven. Maybe you get saved and you decide to go to town and celebrate. Maybe you're going to go to Dairy Queen and get a chocolate malt. You thought I was going to say Dr. Pepper, didn't you? But you're celebrating getting saved the day before, and you get killed in a car wreck. If the thief on the cross, if the 11th hour person in this story makes it into the kingdom, you will too. Why? Because the parable of the laborers in the vineyard illustrate what a good God we have. Don't you forget that. God bless you and have a real good day.